Good evening, free enterprise fans, and welcome to another community club showcase. We're back with another heaping helping of Mom's Spaghetti Club. My name's Vitasia. I'm joined on the mic tonight with Organ Mike. How are we doing tonight, Organ Mike?
We are not doing too badly. How are you, Vitasia?
Doing fantastic. Always love when Mom's Spaghetti Club gets the featured restream of the week. So glad we moved it to the Friday night. And really happy that we have two fantastic runners, both Stony and Garen, going to be doing our race for us tonight. We have some other folks in the race room as well. So nice showing for the community club this evening. And this looks like a spicy bit of marinara here. We got looks like it's a Palom start, although we got to hunt for a Palom too, don't we?
That's what it looks like to me, yeah. Item number 6 there on that list.
Yep, other things to be on the lookout for. Looks like there's more boss hunts in this particular one. Defeat Officer, defeat the Dark Imps, defeat the D-Lunars. In addition to the one static flag, we have defeat Wyvern. So lots of boss hunts that we have going on here, along with our static objective, which is complete Cave Bahamut, which can get nasty. Um,
Oh, for
it's
sure.
real. It's real interesting about that particular spot. Keep in mind, apples and sirens are removed from this flag set. So there's no real kind of easy grind to get going about it. So if we see an early darkness crystal, that's the only thing locking Cave Bahamut. We're going to see some interesting grinds to get prepared for that ultimately required objective there.
Oh, for sure. And even the ones which are not find a specific boss. I mean, obviously, Cave Bahamut have to defeat the boss there. The Sealed Cave, there's whatever's standing in Evil Wall's place, and the boss of Lower Babel. So there's a lot of fighting that's going to be happening on this one.
A lot of chance for double dips as well. We've seen in previous tournaments whenever there's a boss hunt, for example, we see people prioritize multi-boss checks. For example, Baron Inn becomes a little bit more of a common play. Mount Ordeals, if it becomes more attractive, even if you don't have a Cecil to go through. Uh, hey, we appreciate the lurk for everyone coming in here. We appreciate it. We're about to get started here, and it looks like we are.
Oh,
Oh,
never
not
mind.
quite. False start from Garen. 5 yard
That's all right.
penalty.
So yeah, looking like the only ones that we don't have a fight on are Coco forging the Excalibur or whatever weapon it happens to be, and finding that second Palom out there somewhere.
Absolutely. Now, remember, some of the interesting things about the Mom Spaghetti flag set is all of the overworld non-gated character spots. So there's 4 or 5 of them, 2 in Mysidia, 1 on Mount Ordeals, um, 1 in Watery Pass. All of the non-gated character locations. Um, those characters, wherever they would, I mean, they're still kind of in the mix, but they could be located in treasure chests in the overworld. So it does incentivize doing a few more overworld checks, and it very well could be open a random treasure chest in Antlion Cave. Hey, we have a Palom. Dupes are turned off, but it will be that free objective.
And is that only for the blue planet, or is that everywhere?
I believe, and I will have chat correct me on this because we haven't done a whole lot of testing, but I believe it's only in the overworld chests because they are overworld. They're kind of free character checks, so they were placed in free, unlocked, ungated treasure chests.
I suppose that makes some sense.
But with a Palom start, it's always nice to see Palom. He gives us a little bit of power right away. If you find a Stardust Rod, and absolutely with this power level of the gear we have access to, it's always possible. But even then, he gets level 2 spells very quickly. Rosa's a great
Yeah.
companion there as well.
And that could be our D Lunars there, possibly, giving out the Artemis arrows.
That will certainly incentivize coming back to Baron if we see the Baron key, because it could be the D Lunars or the Wyvern. When you think about
That's true.
there's five lunar sparkles, two of them are boss objectives here, so that's really enticing right now.
And we are off and taking to the skies. See where Baron and Stony decide to go. Both of them heading south, right to Eblan.
Yeah, this is interesting. We've seen a lot of runners try to make efficient checks. It's T wild. It's not wild-ish. So it's mostly about check density at this point in time. It's just trying to get as many checks as quickly as you can. And let's face it, it's about as dense as you could possibly get here in Eblan Castle, especially with the vanilla monster boxes on. We know where all three of those monster boxes are located. We may want to come back later to check those monster boxes because key items could very well be there. But for now, this is just a real dense location to get a little bit of loot. And there is that heroine robe already. We have those Artemis arrows with a heroine robe. All we need is a decent bow. We are set with Rosa.
Sounds like a good start right there. Seeing some other interesting equipment pop up. Saw a black belt. I think there was a Sylph orb, so Rydia popping up somewhere. We'll have that.
Well, I believe we also had a Leviathan orb kind of in our opening run of items as well. So if we do find a Rydia anywhere, it's going to be pretty strong. Nice pro ring there. Another Sork robe. Nice stuff. Another black belt. Yeah, I think we're good to go here.
Wonder if we'll see both black mages and both white mages as for party composition.
It will be interesting. And here we see a little bit of early game divergence. Looks like Garen says, I want to do a little bit more looting. Stony says, I'm good to start doing some shopping over here.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, hi. I'll take an Artemis bow as well. But we'll see if there's enough to sell. There's a crystal ring, another Sork robe, white shirt, rune ring. Wow, all of the rings are in Damsian basement. One-stop shop. Oh, and Garen does find another white mage, Porum, in one of the chests in the basement.
There we go. Yeah. So 2 white mages and 1 black mage at the moment.
Oops, all mages.
And Stony has purchased that Artemis bow to go with those Artemis arrows and that heroine robe.
Realizing, hey, while I'm here, let's go ahead and check out these item shops. Sure enough, there are life potions available.
Oh, and coffins as well.
And it does look like
interesting grinding.
It does look like at least Hallam started with a crossbow, so our Rosa is going to start with, no worse than a crossbow, but Stony did take some extra time to purchase, to sell already and loot out just to get for that Artemis bow. So great early start for Stony there. Meanwhile, Garen, there's a dupe Rosa, but there is a sparkle. What kind of sparkle do we see?
We got Wyvern. Hello.
Yeah, and here's the problem. Wyvern's gonna use his Mega Nuke. We do not have the Witchburn flag on in Mom Spaghetti Club. We wanted that one static Wyvern encounter to be truly dangerous. And that Mega Nuke is dangerous.
That looks pretty dangerous. Yeah. So now both are runners heading into the Antlion Cave. Seeing a couple ribbons floating around too. That's nice to see.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think I also saw a Zeus gauntlet. No one who could really use it terribly well, but...
You did. We got the Magus Sisters in the Antlion spot.
Yeah, Rosa's going to make quick work of them, especially on Stony's side. I think Garen will be able to get through as well. Picked up an Elven Bow, so not too much farther behind.
They're not going to have a lot of hit points. So.
Oh,
Oh, Rose is charmed.
No.
Not doing a whole lot of damage to herself, at least. And Stony and Garen are finished at about the same time.
Yeah. Garen did take that wipe with the Wyvern, but does have the knowledge over it.
Oh no! And Stony spent all that money on the Artemis bow, and there's one on the item list.
I mean, that is the danger of spending time to check the weapon shops, because sometimes just exactly what you need is going to fall right in your lap immediately. So Garen, right now, with a little bit of an edge, has the knowledge of the Wyvern there. That being said, I think Wyvern does take extra damage from Artemis, so if, with the levels that Stony has now, Stony might be able to get one shot off before the Mega Nuke? Maybe?
Well, we'll see. He's going to go and try it. Not that he knows that Wyvern's there. Garen's going to go back, so probably looking at the same possibility.
Stony going, okay, yeah. Plus 25 does make it relatively easy, but Rosa's not anchoring.
Well, Stony gets the first
Boom.
shot off and wins that fight, and it looks like Garen will do the same. Woo! 4,000 damage. Nice.
Artemis does hit the dragon weakness, and I do believe... I always get them mixed up, but I think Wyvern is the dragon. Bahamut's not a dragon for whatever reason.
Well, that covers Objective 1 for both our featured runners.
Nice and quick. Worth pointing out, with so many boss hunts still on the table, it's not uncommon for runners to check some of the one-off locations, Mist Cave and Watery Pass, specifically in the overworld. Looks like, oh, there's a Stardust Rod! Stony, aren't you a little bit sad about that Artie bow now?
And Garen's going to go check the bosses here. Another Sparkle. And another Twin as well.
Well, dupes are not turned on, so really this is just a play for the boss. And it is Plague.
Plague goes down very quickly. We got Kainatsu attacking Fabul on Stony's side. And we've got a Mist Dragon guarding the...
Bonus round. It's convenient having it right there.
Yeah.
Problem is, Mist Dragon is very punchy.
This is a spot where you'd normally fight young, so... Oh, there's the Adamant from Kainatsu at Fabul.
Okay, so that is half of one of our other objectives, so absolutely worth keeping that up.
Well, a third. We still have to get underground.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta make some checks. Understandable.
And we have Star Veils in Fabul as well. This dragon goes down for Garen, and we will see a power suit, shirt, robe thing.
Yeah, still not really. I mean, it's interesting. We're getting a lot of good gear for martial fighters. Power shirts, black belts, Zeus gauntlets. Heroine robe and Artemis bows and arrows is great for our archers, and we do have both Rosa and Horum that can use those, but really looking for some other gear right at the moment. We're getting some weird gear mismatches. Where Sid, Elvin? Great question. We've We've seen axes, but we've not seen hammers.
And Garen picking up some silk webs and kamikazes. Stony heading into Mysidia, meanwhile.
Yep, and
Big
Garen
hammer.
double checking right now says, hey, let's turn in this bonus round, find some, hey, samurai arrows just lying in a bush. That'll help kind of stretch out that usefulness. Some hourglasses available on Stony's side.
And there's the hook. Interesting.
Yeah,
Of
that
course,
hook.
to forge the legend sword and to defeat the boss of Lower Babel, both of those require that the players get underground.
Well, and that's in a spot I don't think any runner is going to pass up. I suspect we'll be checking Mount Ordeals, and then we still have all of the monster boxes to check. We'll have the 3 monster boxes in Eblin, which we are very close to being able to handle given our equipment. But then we also have the monster box in the Tower of Zot that we have access to as well.
That's a good point. Stony is going to go now check the Baron Inn while Guerin takes on Keinatsu at Kabul.
Simple flip-flops. Garen is really taking time to leverage the twins and their twin cast, which is absolutely fantastic to see. You don't often get to see it used because it loses a lot of its power later in the game, but right now in this early game, it's just fantastic to use.
Seems to be paying off pretty well at the moment. Guerin will get his adamant, and looks like Stony taking on D-Mist will probably get his power shirt.
We have a mist cycle over on Stony's side. Looks like Stony did equip the darkness arrows, which is interesting. You don't often see those darkness arrows being used, but they have the darkness element, and D-Mist is considered a light elemental, so it's hitting an elemental weakness, but I think we're losing a lot in terms of pure damage output over the RD. But we get through it anyway.
I think the main difference there is Guerin's use of the twin skill, actually.
I think you're right, honestly.
Just that difference in damage. And Stony gets a twin.
All right, it does look like Garen is going to be showing us our first new bit of information, climbing Mount Ordeals. And I do see a Stardust Rod on Garen's side. I guess he may have made that purchase.
I missed it if he did, so... Yeah, according to NG Dave in chat, Guerin bought it.
In the meantime, Stony is setting up. It's like, I got double archers, baby! Come at me!
Here's another piece of new information. We have not seen who's here in the Mist Cave yet. And we get Ordeals number 1, the Dark Elf. Rubicant in the Mist Cave.
I mean, that's good information. If we see a Ruby Sprite later, we'll know it's an Elements fight. I appreciate the attempt to purchase the... I mean, yeah, the adamant armor is super expensive. It is priced to the point where you should never be able to buy it unless you do a whole lot of looting.
Stony picking up a hook. And Guerin getting through the Dark Elf.
Worth pointing out on Stony's side, the general consensus is when you're checking the demist, you want to park in the back of Mysidia instead of the front, simply because on the off chance that Rydia's mother gives you the package, and she can, if you park in the front, you're then forced to enable the whole package cutscene, which can be a bit of a time waster. So, worth pointing out to folks.
We've got Berserk on Rosa fighting the guards. The guards don't seem to have a lot of punch in Mylan Zed's spot.
No, Stony did also just show us that if we happen to find the sand ruby, we have old man Fusoya taking a nap in that bed. Oops, all mages.
Definitely worthwhile, yeah. Well, especially if we get a Rydia with this bunch, that would be 5 heavy-duty spellcasters. We're not heading back to save at all, just plowing right into the Chamber of Ordeals, and Stony headed to the Tower of Zot to look at that monster in a box. Just got a white shirt from the Tower of the Mount Ordeals. Oh, and we got another fight with some humans, officer and soldiers. Is this the one we're looking for objective number 8?
This is the officer-soldier fight. The other officers was actually just on the other part of the bridge. So, yes, this is the exact fight that we are hoping to see.
And with that retreat, that will mean that... Yep, we got defeat officer completed for Gwaren.
Oh, and Stony found the Legend Sword, so that is the second half of Forge. Once we're underground, that's another objective complete, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, and to answer a question in chat, I know our restreamer Enjadave also answered in chat, but there was a question. If she gives you the package, does that mean the airship is still stuck on the other side? The randomizer does automatically move the airship to the right side, but you do have to sit through the fight and the cutscene and the mountains falling down. And sometimes it's funny because you never know who's knocking you over.
The elements were taking a bath in the waterfall, it looks like.
Ruby's just having a bad time all over the place.
Hanging out in that damp mist cave and then standing in the soaking wet waterfall. Not a place for a fire elemental.
Not in particular, no. But Garen does gain some value from Mount Ordeals with that one objective complete. So Garen has 2 objectives done. Stony does have the ability to complete the Forge, which Garen has not checked yet. Looks like Stony might be coming over here to do... No, going immediately into the underground, going to forego the monster boxes in Eblin Castle, at least for now. There's a tiara and a crystal ring. Wow.
And I can see this. I mean, there's an objective right on the table for him, so why not do it? I mean, I know it means going all the way underground, but it also gives you access to the boss of Lower Babel, too.
Those are hourglasses available to Stony, and I thought we saw some hourglasses available for sale somewhere else as well, but I know...
They were at Toroya.
Okay. I do know that that's something that I think a lot of runners like to see, getting seeing hourglasses before they do any sort of monster boxes, simply because it makes it trivial.
Looks like Stony is committing to this one. There's an Aegis shield. That's nice. And a mute knife. And what do we got for Gwaren in the monsters in a box down here? The Mad Ogres.
Of course, worth pointing out, Garen did switch over from the Artemis bow to the Elven bow on Rosa. That was simply to make sure we're hitting a magic weakness. For whatever reason, these mad ogres are counted as mages. So mute knives, elven bows, mute arrows, anything like that do extra damage. Pretty sure we would have been hitting hard enough anyway, but always worth just ensuring that with a weakness.
And we've
And
got
that
another duplicate
is
twin. And the king and queen of Eblood have taken a step back. That was King Eblood? Now my brain is going, wait, was that?
that was King and Queen
That was,
Eplin.
yeah.
So that's a free fight to get through. And this is our get Palom. My goodness, we got.
Oh,
hang
that's
on.
right, yeah. Get Palabas on the list too. Yeah.
So we've defeated Wyvern. We know where Officer Soldier is. We got Palom. So that's 3. We have Cocal Forge. That's 4. We can defeat the lower boss of Lower Babel. That's 5. We are
Just Cave Bahamut left.
We're a Darkness Crystal away from go mode at 21 minutes. Folks, this is what Mom Spaghetti is all about. We expect it to go through pretty fast.
The Stony checking out the Staleman chest in Cave Eblood. And Baron checking the one in the castle. What do we got? Anything of interest? Toad?
Best case, it's the Darkness Crystal. Worst case, it's the Magma Key.
Or another heroin robe.
Just a heroin. Another one here. We might be getting close to being able to buy another adamant armor there.
Angie Dave in chat says there was an adamant armor from the Black Cat Lamaya chest. Oh, and there's a pan! Stony has found a pan. And heading underground, that pan opens up a few checks then.
So, if you are in, right now we're in kind of a no mode. Stony doesn't quite know it yet because up to this point in time, they've dodged doing Mount Ordeals. But knowing what we know, what's your routing decision going into the underground?
Oh, good question. I'm not an active player, so my routing is going to be iffy at best. But just looking at the possibilities, like I said, having all the information. If I have all the information that both these runners have, my plan is probably to madly scramble to try and get the Darkness Crystal. So I do those 3 checks on the pan, the free check in Cave of Monsters. I might look to see who the bosses are there, just to see if there's something that means I don't have to go through the 3 at Ordeals, just because it's out of the way at this point. I think right now the sealed cave can be, unless that happens to be where the Darkness Crystal is, the sealed cave is not going to be done. Like, forget it. So I would just be frantically checking it. Having all the information both runners have, I would be frantically checking for the Darkness Crystal at this point.
Yeah, I do think, knowing what we know, you're doing the frantic Darkness Crystal check. I would say, and I think Dave is, he and I were thinking the same thing, because there's the objective at the boss of Lower Babel, and that's immediately accessible. As soon as you launch that Falcon, land it immediately, and you climb that tower and you do that boss first. Absolutely first. You do not open another monster box, because there is an off chance that crystal is just sitting at the top of tower anyway, and you're double dipping doing that. So if you do, you're routing yourself for success, and you've saved yourself a whole lot of checks that you don't have to do, and you have to do it anyway.
Yeah,
on your way,
on your objective list, yeah.
And on your way down, if you don't get it, Well, we're gonna skip the tower key check unless we magically pull it, but then we start opening monster boxes on the way back down from the tower.
Yeah, and Cave Bahamut is hard required, right? So they are going to need Darkness Crystal. There's no way to avoid going to the moon.
That is correct. And this is going to be one of those unique seeds where going to, like, Darkness Crystal is not normally a required objective in Mom Spaghetti Club seeds. Even with boss hunts, um, because lunar. Okay, objectives can be lunar objectives, like complete Cave Bahamut or completing any of the vanilla Mura, Sanme spots, Crystal Sword, things like that. However, because those locations, the weapons locations on the moon, do not hold key item locations, in this particular fork of the randomizer, that also means that any bosses that you're hunting cannot be on those locations either. So we know that the bosses we're hunting are going to be somewhere on the blue planet or in the underground.
Okay. Garen gets Palom, and we see Mum Bomb in the King and Queen Eblin spot.
Well, we know it's going to be free, and I think between the heroine robe, we are set with our punchiness.
Stoney's just berserking Rosa and letting her go. Trying to do the same for Porum here.
Yeah, I think at this point now you hope that Palom can survive the explosion and then sweep through with him afterwards. This might
Maybe
hurt.
trying to get Mum Bomb down before the explosion happens. Doesn't look like it's gonna. Nope. Never mind. And here's a virus on the bombs and gray bombs, and that should probably do pretty good. Lower numbers than I expected, anyway.
Yeah, I think we're... Because Garen is the one who has the Stardust Rod. I don't think Stony does. I think Stony might be a little bit light on total wisdom gear for Petlum. But otherwise, we are through. Even with an explosion, we're through.
Yeah, there's no issue. And a free fight to follow. No need to run back and save.
Yeah, more than anything. I think because you are limited with ammunition as well, you don't even zerk up at this point. You just kind of
Just sit
set
back,
controller down,
take a
enjoy.
breath, grab a drink.
Coffee break. Meanwhile, Garen also on their way down. Remember, you can't see it because it is a split objective, but Garen does have the officer fight completed. So Garen is at 3 objectives versus the 2 objectives for Stony. That being said, I don't know. I did not see Garen go and get that legend sword, which was located in the flame dog chest in the Tower of Zot.
He did
So-
not. So
Each runner has a little bit of information that the other does not. This will make for an interesting race.
and Stony through the king and queen and heading up into the crystal room, finding the pitfall, landing in Lower Babel in the underground. And Bahamut himself is the boss of Lower Babel.
That's an interesting spot for Bahamut to be. That is a very slow spot. And to have a countdown timer with a bunch of free abilities to just swing That's great. The magic attack is also incredibly low at that spot, so even though we have a bunch of mages, we may be able to survive his mega nuke even without anything else.
Palom taking no prisoners on Guerin's side and throwing a quake at at all those little bombs. And Stony doing as you suggested, heading straight up to go and take on the boss floor battle.
Yeah, it does appear to be bypassing the monster boxes. So yeah, that is again, this is the smart play. Um, Even better knowing that there's no reason to go forge the sword right now. That is an objective, but it does not get you anything. It just completes it. You right now it's just about finding that darkness crystal.
And Guerin
And
also threw the king and queen.
yeah, absolutely fantastic job. So Garen and Stony are going to be able to see each other like through the wall there. Say hi to each other, guys. Yeah, this is an interesting fight. I think it's relatively free. I don't know if we bought Star Veils. The opening kits, they're in this flag set. You are gifted with 2 opening kits, but Star Veils are not guaranteed to be among them. So it does look like right now Stony is attempting to outrace Bahamut at this point.
Yeah, that looks like the plan. See how well that goes. Guerin not going up. Mind you, Guerin doesn't have the same count we do. So is going to check the Sylph Cave.
Well, this is what you were suggesting. Said, hey, we're focused on doing checks, and at this point, Garen doesn't think that they're in go mode either. So this is an efficiency play on their end.
Checking the Toad Lady's treasure chest.
Oh, and here's the Mega
Here comes
Nuke.
the Mega Luke. Oh! And a 1 reflection.
Okay, yeah, they still hit really hard here. A Mega Nuke is still a Mega Nuke.
And 1 quake takes Odell and Froggies. And Palom takes out Bahamut as well with a Zeus Gauntlet up there. But that does complete the objective.
Yeah, and I did not see what that item was from the Toad Lady chest. Doesn't look like, I don't think it was anything, but right now it's interesting. We got a race to find the darkness crystal, although each runner has some information about an objective that the other one doesn't know about.
Adamant armor from Young.
That's 2 adamant armors that Garen has. Oh, Stony, don't forget the monster boxes. Stony!
Guerin opening up the ceiling of the underworld. It probably had to do Fabul to finish those pan checks.
Nope, that's
Stony gonna talk to the forge.
I mean, I can appreciate this. We're going to get a pretty decent weapon here, as I recall.
And Sheila has the darkness crystal. There we are.
Hello, darkness,
And a twin
my
heart.
old friend.
Matsuno. I don't know what that is.
That's an edge weapon. Ha!
Alright, so the darkness crystal on Guerin's side does open up that required Cave Bahamut objective.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So Garen, here's the problem though. Garen doesn't know about. Garen's going to be opening up a lot of boxes unnecessarily at this point, looking for either the other half of Forge or the Luca key. We haven't seen the Dark Imps either, so he might be checking a bunch of boss locations. But all these other monster boxes, there are 7 total monster boxes in the Self Cave, one of which Garen's already done. And there's 4 monster boxes in this tower that I was trying to get Stony to do. All for only one possible check is really kind of devastating in terms of potential here. Now, if Garen ends up finding it, great. We know that one of the answers is in the Flame Doggy chest in the Tower of Zod.
Yeah. Oh, we got a check on Dwarf Castle, and it looked like a Mylan. Another Zeus Gauntlet on the other side.
It is incredibly interesting that this seed so far has just said, make do with mages and archers. And we have.
Mylon and friends. It was yellow. Pinktail? Okay.
So Pinktail is a key item objective in this fork that we're playing. So it behaves just like the rat tail.
Okay, and can it then offer something other than equipment? Could it offer another key item?
It can offer another key item, absolutely.
Interesting. Stony taking out the ghasts and getting Mylon to throw some lightning about.
Worth noting, there is kind of a significant equipment difference. We only have 3 party members. There's the Luca key.
There's the Luca key.
That's go mode for Garen, and he knows it.
Yeah, he's just gonna. I bet he's just gonna head up, take out Bahamut at Lower Babel, and then head to the sealed cave, and then Cave Bahamut.
Absolutely.
Sealed cave also offers a grind option with all the trapdoors.
It's
ooh, hello Fusoya. And hailed him. Ooh, Stony must be disappointed, hoping that was the D-Lunars.
That would have been just a game changer for Stony and put them right back in this race.
Except that Stony doesn't know where the Darkness Crystal is, and Cave Bahamut is still hard required. We get to watch Garen's Bahamut do the Lugai dance. And Stony's red hand go and steal the crystal. Why does no one ever just step on the hand and just stop it? It's like, the hand is moving. Stomp, we're done here.
I mean, I would say I would be freaked out at seeing a floating hand just kind of doing its thing and originally coming for you and then disappearing. But then again, this is a world with a bunch of magic, so nothing should freak them out.
We just get a Bahamut orb, but also a Fusoya. So, oh, and we're going to warp back and see what the reward is for the sealed cave. And it's a ribbon. Lots of ribbons around.
Lots of ribbons around. We're at a significant equipment deficit, given the characters that we have. Garen with 2 adamant armors. With only 3 characters, when 2/3 of your party are wearing adamants, there's some power difference going on here. Even with the addition of the Fusoya, I don't know if that makes up for 2 adamants.
And Guerin beats the Bahamut timer. Gets through that boss of Lower Babel, and I suspect we'll be seeing him head straight for the sealed cave.
I think that's a fair assessment. Stony, oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I love this play from Stony, saving on the outside, knowing that I don't need. There's not a whole lot of experience available at this particular spot right now. You've done, well, really hasn't done all the monster boxes, but set themselves up to be in a position where they can reset out if they get to the very end and says, okay, it's not anything I need.
But meanwhile, this will definitely put Stony in a position where all he needs to do is find that darkness crystal. But that search for the darkness crystal could be a while.
Yeah, the Mom Spaghetti Club seeds have, I don't know, they've developed a cadence where it always feels like, for whatever reason, the 6 monster boxes in the Poison Treasury, for whatever reason, the answer seems to be there. It's not supposed to be that way. It's not weighted extra heavy or anything of that nature. But the past few weeks of the asynchronous seeds have absolutely had several answers in that location. Right now, we know that there's absolutely 0 things that could possibly be there that could be helpful to us. So, it'll be interesting to see if Stony is drawn to that just based on meta knowledge or not.
Stony through the guards and headed to Ordeals. Meanwhile, Guerin is heading into the sealed cave. And we know Stony will find the officers here and will then be on the desperate hunt for that darkness crystal.
Truth be told, it does make logical sense. If you know that you need to find the darkness crystal, you can ignore the other boss hunts at this point to effectively just check specific key item locations. And that does make going to the Sylph Cave to turn in that pan very attractive. Now, the problem is, it sets yourself up to clear out the Sylph Cave with all the monster boxes that are available there first. That
if you're
might
already
be
there.
Yeah, if you're already there, you might as well do it. That might be a blessing, depending on what we find up in Cave Bahamut. Remember, that's a very difficult spot, and it takes more than just a couple of adamant armors to get through that if there's something really nasty there.
Let's see, it could be an evil wall. That would be pretty brutal. It could be where our D-Lunars are.
It could. I mean, for example, I think the worst thing we could possibly find up there is the Dark Imps, because that is a punchy spot. Oh no!
We have the Alt Gauntlet at the sealed cave.
Oof. The Alt Gauntlet. For the, I recognize that most of our viewers are probably free enterprise fans, aficionados out there. The Alt Gauntlet, this is the boss encounter that originally is the Fabul Gauntlet boss fight, where you have to fight 5 series of regular enemy fights in a row. So a couple monsters, a couple soldiers. I think there's a gargoyle thrown in there to make it balanced when you're doing the randomizer. This is what we call the Alt Gauntlet. So for each boss location, it takes 5 random encounters from the area that it's located in, or of a similar power level. For example, the Baron Basement Throne is going to pull from, Land of the Summoned Monster random locations, for example. And they're not random; they're static encounters for each spot, but they are the random boss or random encounter tables. So,
Stony going to check the freebie here at Cave of Seven Monsters. It's a crystal bracelet. And for anyone wondering, both runners have completed the officer fight, which is the second half of the 7th item down there. So it's not displayed on the checker, but it is reflected in the number of goals they've completed.
oh, that's a nasty Fey March there. Golbez and Dr. Luque.
Interesting couple. Is Stony going to go finally turn in that pan, or at least whack Yang with it? Maybe check all, what are there, 7 monster chests down here?
There are 7 monster boxes, and seems to be setting up for checking Young first. You have to take a left at Albuquerque there first, and it gets you over to the Poison Treasury, even skipping the Toad Lady check. So just making a beeline for not only Young, but also we got to presume that this is going to indicate a Sheila turn in as well. That's exactly what Stony needs to do. And Stony is going to get the opportunity to skip this Alt Gauntlet at Luca Cave because they already did, they found the second half of Forge in the Flame Dog chest. We're right back in this. This is a race now.
Definitely. All depends on what's at Bahamut. Could be interesting, like, what if it's like the Water Hag?
Under normal circumstances, I would say grade free. But that's incredibly punchy, it's incredibly fast, and we don't have very strong offenses right now. Like, I don't know if we can take the punches.
Also notable that Garen doesn't have a 4th party member yet. Stony is using Fusoya, which picked up from the dwarf. Oh, Stony not even checking the second sheet. Oh, yeah, there he goes back for it.
Says, hey, just in case you give me something good, and it's a twin harp, it's like, okay, well, okay, yeah, sure. One for the pie. So both runners at this point have 5 of their 6 objectives complete. And Garen has to exit out. Stony has a little bit of a straight line edge to go turn in this Darkness Crystal and go check out Cave Bahamut. This is the race at this point in time. I think Garen has a few more levels and absolutely better equipment. Stony does have a Fusoya, so a 4th character. It's all going to come down to who is at that boss location.
I know. I still think, at least for my money, I know Dark Imps are terrible there, but seeing the evil wall pop up there would just sort of freak me out.
Oh, that'd be horrible. But as long as you could survive it, we've seen enough ribbons, I think, to, get through it. Let's get some guesses in chat. Let's drive this engagement. Help out the channel, folks.
Yeah, for sure. Rexel has suggested DKC, which would be, again, horrific.
Oh, that would be bad, because our highest HP character, well, that's on Stony's side. That's Fusoya.
It'd still be tricky to survive that with Fusoya.
Yeah, it'd be real rough there. Dark Imps for the 7-6, but get your guesses in chat. What are you gonna see? I will award you 1 internet point if you guess right. I will call you out on stream and award you 1 internet point. That is not redeemable anywhere but the internet. So
And the internet is valuable. CPU. Ooh.
I mean, I like torturing the runners too, but man, my goodness.
We know it's not elements. They're at the waterfall having a bath.
Not elements.
Roddy
it's not
Sniper
Lizard.
suggests Ultros. That would be an interesting spot for Ultros. I mean, wrong game, but that would be, knowing Ultros, that would not be unexpected entirely.
It is. It's our Doom Noodle. I mean,
it is Leviathan.
Honestly, that's not too far off from Ultros here. And truthfully, this is probably one of the best encounters we could hope to see. Big Wave itself is a percentage-based attack, and we have the ability to, with Fusoya, keep ourselves healed up. Palom can dish out quite a bit of damage. This is actually probably best case scenario right now.
Yeah, and Gunga D gave us that call on Leviathan. So Rowdy Sniper suggested Ultros, claiming the point.
We'll give it to Gungadi. You get 1 internet point, sir, madam, person of my affection. Now, no, internet points are not actually redeemable for anything, and Elven Sorrow. If I declared Sid to be inferior, Elven Sorrow would refuse to belly bump me at our next convention. So, I have my priorities straight.
That would be tragic. It's an actual race to see who can clear off this Leviathan first, and Stony finishes the job.
Fu gets full power.
There's the Earth Crystal, if we want to go back and complete Zot.
But that is a GG's for Stony.
That's the game.
Well done. 53 minutes and 12 seconds. Great race. I got to imagine Garen's right on their heels. So we'll see if Stony wants to chat with us. But wow, I mean, this is a standard Mom Spaghetti Club race. We had some divergence, and there's Garen.
Yep. 30 seconds later.
GG's to both of our runners.
Well done to both runners, yeah.
And it does sound like we are joined now by Stony. GG's. Whew, what a close race.
Wow, that was awesome.
And here's the thing. You and Garen did not do the same objectives.
Oh, wow. Which ones did he end up doing?
So the difference was you completed Forge by going up and doing the Flame Dog check. Garen actually went and was opening boxes in the lower Tower of Babel on their way down and found the Luca key.
Oh, that's crazy. Because I thought about checking them, but I was like, no, you know what? Let me just kind of have tunnel vision with everything that I have right now and just kind of do what I have and then backtrack if I need to.
See, here's the thing. At that point in time, we had known that the officer fight was on Mount Ordeals because Garen had checked that. So at that point in the race, Garen had checked. Garen had the officer fight down. We were wondering if you were going to do that, and you had the flame dog check down. So it was like, okay, well, who's going to find the darkness crystal? Garen actually had the darkness crystal first, but get this, with the Luca Cave encounter, it was probably one of the most ill-timed alt gauntlet fights.
Oh wow.
So it stretched that check out so much, and really, yes, I'd hate to say you snuck in there, but you snuck in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because like once I saw the darkness crystal on Sheila 1, I almost left out of there, and I was like, well, let me just go backtrack and check to see if I'm sorry, the Luca key was actually on Sheila 2, because I would have ended up going down there. But since it wasn't, it was just a twin harp. I was like, all right, let me just go to the moon, see what's up there, and just take it out and be done with it.
Well, and so here's the deal, and I apologize if this wasn't explained. You did everything perfectly right. The little crystal symbol in the objectives at the start of the race, that complete Cave Bahamut was a required
Oh,
objective.
you know what? I did forget about that because I didn't notate it, and I did see it when I loaded up the seed, but it completely fell off my radar in the middle of the race. So, oh my gosh, that wow. Woo! I'm glad that was not the Luke key at Sheila 2 then. And I'm glad I didn't check the boxes on the way down Babel.
Blessing in disguise, I guess. I
Yeah.
was a little surprised. I tell you what, as soon as you went to the Sylph Cave, because we knew it was from the Sheila turn-in at that point in time, but the meme in Mom's Spaghetti Club has been do the poison treasury, open all those boxes. There's 7 monster boxes in there, and you bypassed all of them to do the pan turn-ins. We were like, oh,
I
we got
am
a race now.
I am not a fan of the poison treasury, and I didn't even. I thought I was looking at the Toad Lady chest, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna go run right by that, go do my pan checks, and see what if I get any key items from these 3 checks. So I dodged a huge bullet. So wow.
So, how about some overall thoughts? I know you haven't done a whole lot of Mom Spaghetti Seeds, but what are your thoughts on the flag set overall? It's a little bit speedier, a little bit more chaotic, but that's a little bit by design too.
Yeah, and at the very beginning when I drove into, I think it was Troy, and I saw the Artemis bow, and I had enough money to purchase it. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm gonna get a leg ahead everybody else and buy the arty bow. I have the arty arrows already, and just go from there. And then turned around and go into Antline Cave, and there's a free one there, and I think there was another free Artemis bow, and I kind of forgot that T Wild was on, and then the flag with what are they called for treasure
Oh, Min Tier
no
4.
play no treasure playable, sorry, T playable.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then I started realizing, oh, all these items that I'm picking up are for characters because I sold that Leviathan orb early thinking I'm not going to get Iridia, which I thankfully didn't, but there was plenty of loot for her if I ended up coming across her. So but luckily, I just needed the 3 characters to get me through. Though Fu helped speed up that Leviathan fight at the end.
Yeah, you were both on Leviathan at the same time there at the end. It was so close. 45 seconds, I think, was the total split time at the end. So really just a great showcase of what Mom Spaghetti Club does. Thank you so much. This was wildly entertaining. Um,
Uh, I had a blast, and I was skeptical going into it because, like you said, I hadn't done too many of these, and I was like, you know what? Let me just jump in just for fun, just to kind of play one, and it turned into a blast. So, thank you.
Absolutely anytime. Any other final thoughts before we let you go? And congratulations on your win.
No, that was great. It just, once again, thank you for all the club races, all the restreamers, everything that everyone does to make these races happen. So thank you, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Stony. Have a great night.
Thank you, you too.
That
All
looks
right.
like about it from us then, I think.
Let me double check.
Okay, Garen's coming. Great.
Worth noting that Stony and Garen did finish first and second place in the race room as well. So our top two runners in the community race on the restream as well. Infinius has also finished in third place, just a few minutes behind them at 56 minutes and 32 seconds. So GG's to Infinius out there as well.
Infinius and I are part of a long-running Civ 4 game in another server. So
Oh, nice. And with that, we're joined now from Garen. GG's.
Thank you.
I hope you go back and watch this because this is a wildly entertaining race.
When it finishes that close, I imagine so, yes.
Here's the real trick. You two did not do the same set of objectives.
That much I figured out, probably. I'm watching it.
Yeah. The big difference was Stony checked the Flame Dog chest, which had the other half of Forge. And then did not check the monster boxes on the way down from the tower. Made some other checks, kind of went to ordeals late. So didn't have to do the Luca Cave. So got to bypass that horrible alt gauntlet, which I think at the end of the day was the difference, like just being able to dodge that.
Actually, it was me checking the last chest on the way out of the tower because I was thinking to myself, if it's legend, I don't want to pass that up. That's the wrong chest to take in that case. That was a waste of enough time to make the difference.
Yeah, it was so very close, and it was so entertaining from this side because you guys didn't exactly go over each other's paths, and I think that's one of the strengths of Mom Spaghetti Club is it does incentivize doing a whole lot of kind of out of the way stuff, just because you never know where anything is going to be.
Well, I mean, never what the second objective is going to be either. I mean, this time it's Darkness Hunts. It's like, okay, so, I found Darkness at Shield 1. I was like, yeah, okay, people might not check that right away. But, yeah. I was thinking about doing the dog before. I was just like, Magma Key is always fun, but I figured, what are the odds? That's a cost of about 8 minutes in this case.
Well, and you also did the Eblin checks. This was kind of super interesting because Stony did not check the Eblin checks either. Just immediately went underground. Honestly, with a very unusual party. It was oops all mages, but oops all archers.
I mean, I had Adamant at the end, so it's like, okay, Adamant Balam, Hero and Rosa. I don't care about anybody else, really. I mean, 2 Adams is enough, too. It's like, I don't think there's anything that's really going to kill me over at Cave Bahamut in that case, so...
Yeah, it's interesting, because I think you had an extra Adamant from one of the Eblin checks, but Stony ended up doing all of Dwarf Castle and found a bonus foo there. So... I don't know. Does an adamant armor equal a foo in terms of power?
If Foo has nuke, maybe not, but...
Yep, had nuke. Foo got full power from the Bahamut fight. So...
it's funny.
Yeah, it was just a really close, fantastic race, and really, I think, highlighted what's fun about this season's flag set. So thank you so much. That was so much fun.
Yeah, it's nice we got to restream one, so that's good.
Oh, wouldn't have anything to restream if it weren't for you guys running them, so appreciate that too.
And of course, Garen, you are also another club captain, so I would be remiss if I didn't allow you some airtime. Also, would you like to plug your club as well?
Sure. I'm running a little club called Survivor Hero Island. It's basically a bit of a fan fiction with Golbez trying to play the part of a reality TV show host. Sort of themed very, very loosely after the game show model. it's towards the end of the season, but we've got a couple more races to go. Hopefully getting another one up this weekend, but the current race is still up if you want to join it. So, yeah. I use a lot more of the exotic flag sets in Galesmith's Fork, so yeah, we're currently trying, I think, which D is currently on for this race, if that interests you at all.
Sounds good. It's always one of those I want to jump in, but I mean, you do a great job of changing the flags up kind of every week, and I don't get into a rhythm, and I'm like, no, I feel bad about it. So
They don't change that much. There's about 2 or 3 flags a week change.
yeah, but that can change a lot.
Well, that's true. Also depends on how much the runners feel like being nasty with the cards they pick from the draft site.
Look, I know our community. All right, I know there's some people who want to be nasty just to get nasty.
You don't typically run this club.
Oh, but anyway, thank you so much, Garen. Best of luck to you and of course that club. And thank you again for popping on the restream.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yep, take care.
And with that, that will do it from us here at the Community Club Showcase this evening here at the Free Enterprise Workshop. Don't forget, this was Mom Spaghetti's Club. There will be a new async rolled this evening. So come on, join us over on the Discord and jump in and give this flag set a shot yourself. Async races, of course, always going on for all the clubs. So check them all out. I want to give a shout out to all of the team behind the scenes and Dave for the restream. We had, Organ Mike, of course, my co-commentator, Nerukad, the tracker as well. Great job working with everyone.
And of course, you, Vitesia. You did a fantastic job. Always appreciate listening to you.
I thank you so much. I appreciate it. We are going to be sending everyone over to a community member, Fiery Blizzard. Looks like he's playing some Final Fantasy VI randomizer seeds. So make sure to tell him to play the superior randomizer. Come back home to Free Enterprise. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hint, hint. But otherwise, we appreciate everyone. Have a great rest of the night. We'll see you at the next race.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Talk to you soon.